So what the People of Peace video campaign is it's sort of centralized around telling the story of the People of Peace. So exactly what it sounds like. It's basically giving a face to our brand, to our institution. So it's not just, William Peace University, but so people can feel a little bit more. Basically, what it does is it better acclimates not only our internal audience with the People of Peace, so the people who comprise our great institution, but it also works with the external audience too. So in terms of targeting, we're targeting our internal audiences to sort of showcase their accolades and things like that. Like, for example, one of the stories was Mama Sherry graduating. It was to shine a spotlight on her and say, hey, after all these years, she's finally accomplished this, feat that she's been trying to accomplish, for 30 some years. So it's meant to shine a light on her, give a morale boost to her and our internal audience, so the people who work here. But it's also meant to put sort of, a face with our brand and with our institution to an external audience. People like a feel-good story. And that's basically what People of Peace campaign is it's feel-good stories about our people here who comprise peace. It works to not only cater to our internal audience, so students, faculty, and staff, to say, oh, well, that's cool. I didn't know that was going on with Mama Sherry. That's an awesome story. But then for the external audience, so people who follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, it lets them know, oh, this isn't just some big entity. This isn't some big institution. It kind of puts a microscope under, the people who comprise peace.
So, second question is, what did you and Chris have to do in order to create the videos? So, the steps that you had to, with regards to certain literacies that you had to use.
Yeah. Okay, so a lot of times we'll get pitched, an idea. We'll get an email from, a faculty or staff member and says, hey, we got this going on. Or there's a great story to tell here. Or it's just us being in tune with the campus audience and knowing, okay, we kind of know the pulse of peace, and we kind of have our finger on that, knowing, okay, what's a big story coming up. Again, using the Mama Sherry story as an example, we heard she was graduating. We knew that she had been taking classes for literally like 30 some years. And so there was this kind of buzz around that. And so we said that would be a great feature story to tell. People would be interested in sort of hearing that. So we get pitched ideas. We also just sort of know what's going on. And then, sort of the step-by-step process through that is just contacting our subject. So whoever we decide to sort of put the spotlight on. And we also lay out sort of like a mini campaign too. So we know, okay, well, this faculty person is doing this. This staff member is doing this. This person just got honored with this award. Let's talk to them. And we'll kind of lay that out over maybe like a 6-month period. So we set up like a mini production schedule saying, okay, well, we want to have this video with this sort of web story released next month. Okay, well, Chris, I need you to get in contact with our subject, basically the person that we're trying to feature, coordinate and set up a time to interview them, just kind of like we're doing here. And we just have a conversation with them. We just put 2 cameras down. We have an A camera and a B camera, so we get multiple angles so that when you're interviewing somebody, it's not just a talking head on like a single shot. You have an A camera over here, and then you have a B camera that kind of sets up and gives another angle of it. If we have B-roll of them in the campus community, so just file footage, we'll splice that in, or we'll just shoot some footage of them doing stuff throughout their day. So again, I keep going back to this Mama Sherry one, but that's a story that really stood out. We got literally just footage of her interacting with students and stuff like that, so that we can layer that in over her telling her story. And we just treat it like a conversation. We always just tell people, like, this is a very conversational thing. We're just talking, just trying to ignore the cameras and the lights that are here. And then, from there we just cut it up, and we kind of just take what they say and we condense it down into like maybe a 2-minute feature. And like I said, we'll throw in added B-roll. We'll color correct the footage. So there's a lot of small things that people don't know about. We use a separate microphone to record audio from an outside source. So we use this recorder here. So we're not using the camera audio within itself. It tends to be a little bit tinny and not that great. So we record audio externally, and then we go in and we sync up the video to the external audio. Then we go in and we clean the audio up even more. So we make it sound fuller. We add some like reverb and stuff like that to it. And then, like I said, we're color correcting, we're chopping it, and we're condensing it down from that conversation of 30 minutes that we have with someone. And we're telling that story in 2 minutes or less, because no one's going to watch a video that's, 5-7 minutes long, especially 30 minutes long. So we kind of find that sweet spot being 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes.
How is literacy, in this instance, media literacy, used in a new way through your campaign?
How are we using our mediums to connect with people? Is that kind of what?
And how, like, using new technologies and everything. Yeah.
Okay, so we use, we primarily, like I was saying, we make our videos in about 2-minute spurts. But we understand that a lot of people are taking in media via like Instagram and social media. So they want snippets, they want bites. So we'll make like a 1-minute specialized video for Instagram, because Instagram will only allow 1-minute videos to be uploaded. So we take that conversation from 30 minutes to 2 minutes that we might put on YouTube or Facebook, where people are inclined to watch a little bit more and take in their media a tad bit more through those channels, more so than Instagram, where they're taking in even smaller bites. So we take that 2-minute video or so that we do, and we condense that down to 1 minute just for the Instagram audience, because people through various social mediums are interacting with media. They're taking in a lot differently.
Yeah, and especially with the use of the hashtag. 'Cause,
right.
like, I can find it pretty easily on Facebook.
Yes, yeah.
That too,
and that's something else too. With the People of Peace campaign, the hashtag's very important. We have another campaign called Prepare It Peace, and we use the hashtag on that as well, so that anyone on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook can search that hashtag, and then our content pops up. That's a very, very important part of it. And we have that presence, we have that actual hashtag embedded in every video, so that it's forever present in terms of branding.
Yeah.
But there's something else I was going to touch on. Another, sort of way people are sort of, taking in media and like new technology is VR. And so we started doing a lot of virtual reality type stuff. So we have a GoPro Omni rig that shoots 6 different angles. So it's basically like a hexagon, and it shoots angle up here, angle up here, angle up here, that way, and then it stitches it all together in some proprietary software that we have. And that's how you're able to like watch on YouTube and take your mouse and like click through and drag and be able to look all around the sky and all that stuff, or on like Facebook when you have your phone and you can kind of go like that. So we've started using some virtual reality type stuff, because that's a new medium that people are becoming familiar with, and we're keeping up with the times and just forever just saying, how can we push the envelope and go a little bit further than what we're doing now? There's not like a lot of higher ed institutions, there's not a lot of places period that are utilizing VR, especially with the production level that we're doing. Each one of those camera angles that are shot in 6 angles is filmed in 4K. So when you stitch it together, it's a total resolution of 8K. It's probably the highest resolution VR camera rig on the market now. And you might think like, wow, like, this small communications and marketing office at Peace is like utilizing that. And it's like, yeah, but we're like video nerds, we're media nerds, and we're constantly trying to stay up to date, and not only up to date, but ahead. So we're trying to stay ahead of the curve. Not a lot of people are utilizing that. And we've seen a lot of we've seen a lot of success with VR in terms of click rate and people spending time on that video. People spend more time utilizing those videos and engaging with those videos because they're interactive. You actually click your mouse and you look around, or you have an Oculus headset or a VR headset kind of like this, and you strap that thing on and you can look all around. So it's more engaging, and people tend to spend a little bit more time than that typical 1 to 2 minute frame of taking in media, and it's because they can actually get inside there and immerse themselves in it. So so in terms of like media literacy, and the more media people are becoming familiar with, we're staying with them. And that's kind of what we do in communications and marketing, is as the marketplace evolves, we're evolving as well and staying with them so that we get our message to that audience in an appropriate format, in a place where they're at, and we can best put our message in front of them and they'll see it.
Awesome. Okay, so last question.
Sure.
We touched base about this before the interview, but what was some of the feedback from the People of Peace campaign, and especially with the Mama Sherry video?
Feedback is very good. We get constant emails from people. Like I said, we get tips, we get pitches from people saying, hey, this story is going on. I mean, literally I just got one today of like a mother and son story. Like a son, so his mother went to Peace, the son's about to graduate. There's not that many legacies here, seeing as how we just went co-ed in 2012. So we've been co-ed for 5 years now. Someone is already trying to pitch us like a People of Peace story. Like, this would be a great feature story. It's usually mom and daughter here. But there's a mother and son's story. So we're looking at that now. And so we're constantly getting those pitches. So when we are getting people pitching us more and more, that means people are liking it. They're wanting their stuff to be featured. Analytically, we look at, how many views we're getting on Facebook, how many views we're getting on Instagram, Twitter, all of that stuff. It has been very, very successful. The Mama Sherry video, we actually broke it down because it was such a great story, and we didn't want it to be, again, like a 5 to 7 minute video. We did a 3-part series of it. So we did part 1, part 2, and part 3, and we spread it out from March. We launched the first part in March, and then we did the second part in sort of like mid-April, and then we did the third part, the finale, in late April, because commencement is that last year was May 7th. So we put out the last video about a week and a half or so before graduation, because people are tuning into that. They know that's the big news coming, so you want to, again, stay with the times, and you want to give people content surrounding what is most interesting at that time. And so we broke that down. Each part was probably about 2 minutes long. If we had done it all as one video, it wouldn't have been as successful, because you would have seen viewership. This is how viewership typically is in a video. Is like the start of the video. It's like up here, and then as the video goes on, people trail off. So people start to watch less and less and less, because people's attention spans are super quick. So we were like, let's break it into a 3-part series, 2 minute, 2 minute, 2 minute. And from the analytics, we saw like part 1, we had like an engagement of like 10,000 people, and you're able to measure that through Facebook Insights. If you have like a company Facebook or an organizational Facebook, you're able to actually track the insights. So look at the people you've reached, the amount of impressions that basically were served. And an impression is just each time basically your video popped up in someone's newsfeed, all the way down to video views, where if someone views a video for more than 3 seconds, that counts as a view. So you could be scrolling through your like news feed, and you're like, oh wait, you scroll up, you kind of watch that for a few seconds. So we had like a total reach. So the amount of people who saw the Mama Sherry Part 1 story was around 10,000 or so. Probably a couple thousand actual views on it.
Shared too.
Yeah, shares. I mean, there was like 30, 40 some shares, which you can all see that too. And then part 2 and part 3, the engagement went down, which is naturally is going to happen with a campaign, but it didn't go down much. Like part 2 had like an engagement of like 9,000 people reached. Then the finale had like 7,000 people. So we like still saw a very, very high engagement rate, but it did trail off some. And then on YouTube, it was very successful there. And with these People of Peace stories and these like feature campaigns that we're sort of doing, is we can take that media, whether it's hosted on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and we can also use that in like email campaigns. So our advancement office, which basically speaks to our alumni, they're able to use it in like a newsletter that they send out to the 9,000 plus alumni that we have around the country. And it's like, hey, have you seen this story? So we're able to use that video that's hosted on YouTube, and we're able to distribute that via email marketing to alumni, faculty and staff, even prospective students. Like, hey, meet Mama Sherry, because if you're a prospective student, you're going to get to know her probably within the first few weeks of campus, because she's just walking around like giving people hugs and stuff. So you can like take these stories that you sort of craft and create, and you can distribute that like in so many different ways. But yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.